Alrighty guys, we're back for Rakdos Terror, and this is a Dragonstorm Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion down in the comments, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We have all four Bringer of the Last Gift, 8 mana, 6/6 flying Vampire Demon. Now when this creature enters, if you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from their graveyard that weren't put there this way to the battlefield. Pretty neat card, man. We're going to be pairing this with Terror of the Peaks, which is a 5 mana 5/4 dragon. We actually have all four of them packed in, just two different versions here. So, spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost an additional 3 life to cast. Okay. Now, why it's really in here, though, is this bottom ability. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Okay, you guys can probably see where this is going. We're going to try to stock our graveyard with chunky creatures, including Terror of the Peaks, then bring them all back at once with Bringer of the Last Gift. Use that bottom ability on Terror of the Peaks and just explode the opponent's face at that point, right? Especially if you bring back a couple Terror of the Peaks at the same time. So some of those other chunky top-end creatures like Trumpeting Carnosaur are going to be pretty important. Has that bottom ability for just 3 mana, dealing 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It's decent enough to actually do some rearranging because I do think you activate that bottom ability very often, especially when you want it in your graveyard anyways. Outside of that, 7/6 trample, and when it enters, discover 5. Carnosaur has been no joke. More dragons packed in. We actually have Stormshriek Feral, a 5 mana 3/3 flying haste for 1 in a red. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That's probably pretty janky, right? However, this has an omen side as well, and you can cast this card as an omen. After you do, shuffle this card into its owner's library. So this one is called Flush Out. It's a sorcery speed omen for just 1 in a red. Discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Okay. Decent enough to actually do some rearranging here, right? Because we want our chunky creatures in the graveyard. Discard them or try to find our combo cards. It's a very similar concept to cards like Bitter Reunion, of course, doing the exact same thing, only it's an enchantment and also has that bottom ability where we can potentially give haste to our creatures, which could be pretty important if we bring back a huge chunk of creatures with Bringer of the Last Gift. More dragons packed in. We have Scavenger Regent. It's a 4 mana 4/4 flying with Ward. Discard a card. Okay, has an omen here as well. Sorcery Speed Omen. It's Exude Toxin for X and double black. Each non-dragon creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. We'll see how often that actually comes into play today. Because if you think about it, if you spend like 5 mana for this omen, you're doing -3/-3. That's probably pretty good, right? But I'm trying to think of like what board state that's the most like. What board state does that hit really well? You know what I mean? So this is just a card I have to see in action to see how often that omen really comes into play. So you're probably looking at that Bringer of the Last Gift, like 8 mana, you got to cast this thing? Holy cow. Well, yeah, we're going to do our best, but we're actually going to try to make it cost 6 mana, which is a little bit more reasonable with the Sibsig Ceremony. 3 mana legendary enchantment rocking 3 black sources in that casting cost. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Okay, that's pretty cool, man. There's a catch on this card, though. Whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature. Then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Well, that's fine because we're trying to really pop off with the terror ability entering anyways. So, and honestly, if you get the terror down before the ceremony, and then you have ceremony on the board, every other creature you play, you'll get that enters ability on the terror, and then you'll get the enters ability on the zombie entering for the terror too. So that's pretty neat. It kind of pairs nicely. And we're not really doing the reanimator thing. I still have a 1-of Zombify. I think it's still going to be pretty good in here regardless, even if we're not doing the whole reanimator thing. Because like the concept here, of course, you don't want to Zombify the Bringer because it has that if you cast it clause. Okay, how about some removal? That's kind of important. Got a couple Bitter Triumphs also helping us stock our grave. Trying out Caustic Exhale since we do have 12 total dragons. Yes, 12 total dragons. As an additional cost to cast a spell, Behold a Dragon, or just pay 1 extra mana. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. At instant speed, if we can pull this off for 1 black mana, should be pretty darn good, right? Now we're also trying out Strategic Betrayal here too. It's 2 mana sorcery speed. Target opponent exiles a creature they control and their graveyard. So why all 4 of these? Well, the exile removal is not terrible, first of all, but we really don't want the opponent to have a graveyard when we cast the Bringer of the Last Gift, because it does say each player returns all creature cards, right? So we really don't want them to pop off too. So gonna try to exile their grave with Strategic Betrayal, see how that goes. The mana base, guys, a whole bunch of dual land, holy cow. Blackcleave Cliffs, the Verge, Raucous Theater, Razortrap Gorge even. I bet this comes down untapped very often. Got a couple of Restless Vents, heavily leaning towards the swamps because that's what the deck is leaning towards, plus triple black casting cost and ceremony is going to be pretty greedy sometimes. 1 mountain just in case. 25 total mana. Yeah, that's probably about right. We'll see how that works. Some honorable mentions today. We have a Quag Feast. That was in the original suggestion. And the original suggestion was actually Jund and had a whole bunch of extra ramp pieces, like Overlord of the Huntwoods, for example. I cut the Jund this time round. Maybe that was a mistake because ramping into that Bringer sounds pretty good, actually, right? I do want to bring up Bloodfell Caves because I think that the mana base could be a little bit more budget friendly, and I don't think that Bloodfell Caves would actually harm anything in here. Decadent Dragon almost made the cut. Infamous Cruel Claw almost made the cut. And Charming Scoundrel almost made the cut as well. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? So it's a combo build. So we have a lot of powerful cards packed in. Here's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting like it'll actually be pretty decent, but I wonder how often we're actually going to pull off the combo. You know what I mean? We go first. I like that we have 3 land, early removal. Yeah. All right. We keep this. We start with Raucous Theater. Ooh. Keep the ceremony on top. We're very close to pulling off this combo, huh? Okay, we can successfully get the Gorge down. We won't... Yeah. There's nothing in hand for 2 mana since we have a dragon for the Exhale. Well, Exhale doesn't hit that. All right. And Trumpeting Carnosaur doesn't either. Okay, the other Gorge... No, I'm going to skip the other Gorge. We're going to get that ceremony down. Yep. Yeah, that Rock Curse is going to hurt a little bit. It's pretty cool, though, because, like, Carnosaur for 4 is crazy, man, right? Now, Discovering also reads cast, correct? I believe so. Yeah, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So, I mean, it would be... We'll see what we hit on the Discover with the Carnosaur. Oh, another Rock Curse. Dude, this is going to hurt. Okay, well. We could Caustic Exhale to take less damage next turn. Gorge coming out tapped is totally fine. We get Regent to get a 2/2. We don't really want to block the Rock Curse. We take 2 less. We could save the Exhale for something else then, maybe. We do have the bottom ability on Carnosaur too, but yeah, it's just 3 damage. All right, so this is like a little weird, right? But we're going to cast Regent because it's a way to get it into the grave, get it ready for the Bringer. So we get a 2/2. Regent in the grave. We have Caustic Exhale open. We can behold the other Regent. I guess. And yeah, we like, since Rock Curse sacrifices itself anyway. Okay, they go for the cut down. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so we have the option to take 3 less damage next turn if we really want to. Let's see if we have a better target here, though. Oh, crap. None of our removal are hitting their important things. Oh, crap, dude. That's a lot of damage, man. That's not good. We should take less damage for sure. For sure. So let's go ahead. Behold a dragon. Rot Curse. So we're taking 4 damage this turn instead. The Rot Curse sacrifices itself, but Bloodletter's established. We don't have any removal in hand that can deal with that right now. Additionally, just going for, like, we can't get a blocker in the air because Ceremony is established on the board. So best case scenario would be if we can discover 5 and find some removal on the Carnosaur. But removal that actually hits the Bloodletter is kind of important here. I will say this, 1 mana away from the Bringer. We're not set up with any terrors yet either. So seeing a terror on the Connoisseur and untap source off the top could actually be crazy. All right. It's Connoisseur. Because we only have X's 3 on the Regent right now too. I apologize, opponent. I'm over here using timers and whatnot. See what we discover. Oh, it's a terror. Wow. We can also put it in the hand, but we're going to put it on the board. It's going to sacrifice itself. All right, because of the ceremony is going to sacrifice it. Now our grave is ready for the bringer of the last gift, man. Untap source off the top would be crazy. Holy cow. I'm excited. You know what untap source I want it to be too? I know this is so greedy, but I want it to be the Gorge. Specifically, I want... Oh no, it's... Oh, Zombify's not bad though. Yeah, them flying over the zombie druids. Wow, guys. Wow, I mean, we can't ask for a better showcase here, right? Give me 1 second, opponent. I want to make sure I do the most fun thing. Pretty sure we're going to die next turn, especially with the Unholy Annex. They unlock that side. And we're going to be taking 4 because of the Bloodletter. We can't successfully... We'd have to chump this demon. I guess Zombify on Carnosaur, discover 5, find removal. Could still help us survive the turn. That's probably best case scenario, right? Lands, am I right? Kind of. Kind of. Yeah, if we had the 6th... If we had the 6th land... Oh, it's a ceremony. Oh, no. All right, we'll put that one in hand. It's a legendary enchantment, so... All right. All right, opponent, go ahead, get your fun swing in. Dude, seriously, this could have gone either way, and being so close to pulling off an insane combo with Bringer of the Last Gift, man, that would have been so cool. Oh, they're gonna see it. Yeah, look at this. Opponent, check it out, dude. Isn't that cool? The one time I'm happy about a Deep Cavern Bat. Good game, opponent, good game. Demons are looking pretty wild with the new Rot Curse, huh? That's just a huge chunk of extra early damage. We couldn't do much there. There's definitely something to bring up in the final thoughts, maybe, if we keep running into the issue where our removal isn't hitting their creatures, right? So I think that's going to happen often with this build versus demons, because the demons are so big and chunky, and then a lot of them, yeah, we're going to need to do just more generic spot removal, maybe. Yeah, that's something to talk about at the end, though. We'll see what else we end up seeing today, and see if our removal can hit a little bit more than it did that game as well. Opponent goes first. So I actually, I don't like this hand as much as the last hand, but the Stormshriek Feral's Omen side should actually be pretty decent. I do like the Zombify here for if we have to use the Connoisseur as removal. So, and 3 mana too. Yeah, it's actually not bad. Okay, we can successfully get Restless Vents down. That's not a terrible draw. I don't mind seeing more mana. Yeah, like in that last game, if we found our 6, it probably would have been ours. Maybe, right? I guess you never know. Well, was the opponent tapped out there? I guess they were tapped out. I guess we could technically math that out to see how it goes. They have an otter. This is going to be a turn. I'm going to save the Gorge. We're going to go ahead. We're going to trade. And we can probably just cast that Terror of the Peaks, though. I think I'm actually just going to trade the Stormshriek Feral, the other one, into the grave. Because this is enough trading out. Another Carnosaur. Okay. Yeah, I think we might just end up casting the Terror. Fear of Isolation. They're doing the bounce stuff. Swinging for 2 here. Yeah, maybe we should have taken the time to set up with the Gorge, but Strategic Betrayal, not terrific against this. Strategic Betrayal versus the last opponent, they probably would have exiled the 6/6 demon, kept their Bloodletter around. Potentially could have given us an extra turn. Again, one to go back and watch and kind of think about a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go with Gorge and keep the Bitter Triumph open over the Swamp Connoisseur because I want the 4th mana open next turn, depending on what we see. And over Strategic Betrayal, we're going to keep Bitter Triumph. I'm sorry, opponent. I was taking my time over here, dude. Yeah, I'd rather keep this open based on a lot of different things, right? Maybe we could get like something important out of the opponent's hand after we cast the Triumph too. Nurturing Pixie. See, like they might try... probably just Storm Chaser's talent. That way they can boost both otters. Right. Prowess. Yeah, if these go up to 3 power, it might be worthwhile to pop one of those over the Fear of Isolation, but yeah, it's going to be Connoisseur number 1 to the grave. Maybe cast out the other Connoisseur when it comes time. I suppose we pop a Fear of Isolation, although the prowess on the otters is a little bit more scary. I'm kind of valuing their flying a little bit more here too. Now the 4th is open to bring the Connoisseur back. Wouldn't have been terrible for Terror of the Peaks too. It's just Connoisseur has that Discover 5, so it's a little better. 1 mana open for the opponent. That could easily be a bounce spell. Wouldn't be too bad. Again, we'll still get the Discover. Oh, could be a Spell Pierce too. That would be devastating. Alright, we're going to give it a shot though. Zombify. Yeah. Alright, let's see what we discover here. Caustic Exhale. Okay. So we behold a dragon, no worries. We have to pay that extra cost, unfortunately. I guess the flyers again, right? Behold my terror. No, I'll behold the Stormshriek because they already know we have that in the build. They don't know about the terror. That was an interesting interaction with the Discover because, you know, you may cast it without paying its mana cost, but this specifically reads it has an additional cost. Okay, we'll attempt the block. They go nowhere to run. Okay, they're going to try to take out the Connoisseur here, and 1 more card will do it. And 6 getting through with the other otters. Oh dear. This town ain't big enough. Bounce the nowhere to run. More otters coming down next turn, down to 8. Mana off the top would be good. They do have a 5th mana here, so they do go wide with otters again. Bitter Reunion. Okay. So, okay. Man, we need more mana every game, huh? So we could go Strategic Betrayal, make them exile an otter, get rid of their grave. That way this town ain't big enough. Won't be picked up from their level 2 Storm Chaser's talent, which is actually pretty decent, right? Over the Feral, we want to establish the Bitter Reunion, and actually I think the discard will be the Feral. Again, I plan on playing Terror. At this point, we probably plan on playing Connoisseur, but we might need to use it as more removal too. We don't find more mana. Okay. I don't think we're dead next turn. Like I said, we want to exile their grave anyways. Get that this town ain't big enough out of there. Now they only have 2 otters. They don't have any lands to power up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're dead. Oh no! Aw, man. Alright, we'll get rid of the other Carnosaur. So we're down to 6, then they can play the Nowhere to Run for fun. They can just drop it. Or they might have another card here that they'd rather play too. Either way, the prowess on the otters gets them there. Oh, it was another this town ain't big enough anyway. So they really got there then. Like big time, because now they can play the Hopeless Nightmare again. We go down to 4. They got 8 on the board, and they actually have Storm Chaser's talent here too, if they really wanted to. Good game opponent, wow. Okay, the bounce deck list still looking pretty good. I missed my opportunity to drop the GGs. I'm sorry, opponent, forgive me. GGs though. I feel like this deck list is not a 26 land deck list. I think 25 makes a lot of sense. We're doing some trade out, but I do know, I'm pretty sure we don't want to miss mana a single turn, right? I guess another thing to think about in the final thoughts, right? So far, the deck list is kind of doing that Rakdos thing. It feels very Rakdos-y. Rakdos-y, if that's a word. It is now. You go first is great news. Bringer, Ceremony, removal, ways to trade. No creatures to actually like plug into the grave for the Bringer, but lots to draw into. We can't complain about this, right? Like the opening hands have actually not been bad at all. We can start with the Raucous Theater, then the Cliffs. Yeah, we don't want to miss our opportunity for Cliffs. We don't want this to come down as a tapped land later on. And honestly, oh, Zombify. No other creatures though. I'm gonna send it. Yeah, there's only a 1 of Zombify for a reason. That's not realistically what we're doing here, so. Okay. Cliffs comes down. Terror of the Peaks is ready to go to the grave. Let's send it. Get it out of here. Ready to bring back with the Bringer. Ooh, Carnosaur and another Cliffs. Make sure we play that next turn. Corroding Dragonstorm. Okay. Okay, with Esper colors so far. Gorge. Here comes Cliffs. Here comes Ceremony. Dude, maybe we'll pull off the combo this game. Maybe the combo isn't as hard as I was thinking. Right? Alright, Raucous Theater. Don't need the 4th, but I do kind of want to go Carnosaur anyways for the turn. I was gonna say, like, we could establish Raucous Theater, but getting the Carnosaur down, it sacrifices itself. Getting this to the grave and also getting the Discover 5 is pretty crazy, man. Let's see what we see. Another Terror. Ooh, Stormshriek Feral. Okay, we can actually do the Omen here too, but we actually just want to do Creature. So that way we get another 2/2. And then Feral goes to the grave, ready to bring back with the Bringer. This is freaking sick, dude. This is so cool. Alright, Hopeless Nightmare. I am terrified to send the land because I want 6 mana no matter what. But there might... Okay. Okay. Oh dear. I just don't want to miss the 6th mana this time, you know? Okay, Corroding Dragonstorm. So Gorge is coming down untapped as our 6th source. If we don't have to... Wow, 3 mana. Terror of the Peaks. That's actually just so cool to look at. Alright, so let's start with Surveil on the Raucous Theater, because yeah, untapped source here. Oh, if they drop another Hopeless Nightmare, we're going to need that 6th mana. because we're going to need to discard the Gorge over the Bringer. They could easily bounce that Hopeless Nightmare too, so I'm going to keep this. It's weird, but yeah, I'm going to keep it. Terror, come on down, buddy. Come on down. All right. All right, we could give it haste, but I'm not going to. Back down to 21. Yeah, so we're playing around the Hopeless Nightmare plays. Activated abilities. Activated abilities. Okay. Okay, that's not ETBs. Okay, 3 Corroding Dragonstorms bounce back to their hand. Let's say artifacts, creatures, planeswalkers, so we can still activate the Bitter Reunion, funny enough. Are you guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? I guess since we only have 6 mana, I guess we start with the swing. Right? 2 Terror of the Peaks, too. Alright, start with the swing. If we had 7 mana, we'd want to give all the creatures haste. This is gonna be awesome, dude. Go, 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 go. Okay. Whee! Oh my goodness. Okay, I probably didn't have to swing with the double terrors. All right. Yeah. Go, 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 go. And discover 5. That's right. Ah, GG opponent. I would have loved to see all that damage slam through there. Yeah, we got the setup. We got the 6th mana. The ceremony did the thing to get the bringer down sooner. Honestly, that's pretty wild stuff, huh? That's pretty cool. And the fact that we were able to pull it off really says something, right? Guys, while I have you here in the middle-ish, end-ish of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And then also, guys, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. Dude, I'm so freaking happy that we pulled off that combo. That was so cool. Okay, we go first. Try it. I'll try it. After that, I mean, nothing's going to disappoint me after that last game. So, we have the Surveil 1, Terror of the Peaks number 2. Pretty far from it, and we don't have double red either. Plus, we want Terror in the grave for the bringer, so that's fine. Get it out of here. All right, Gorge. I'd say we're not getting punished by just playing Gorge this turn, getting the tap land down. Yeah, because based on what we were up against, if we were up against like mono red, I would have had Bitter Triumph open. All right, well, we have X's 1 on the Regent. That's it though. Outside of that, we keep Bitter Triumph open. Oh, they're passing it back. Looks like some control, guys, which is definitely a problem. We'll see if they counter Regent, and I hope it's not an exile counterspell. But either way, we got to get these counterspells out of the opponent's hand. I'd prefer just a generic counterspell, send it to the grave, so that way we can bring it back with the bringer when it comes time. Especially against control, where the game's go on for so long. Yeah. Now if we can pull off a bringer late game against control, couple terrors. We'll see though, we'll see, because that's the problem. We actually have to pull it off. Oh, they drop a Jace, they tap out for the turn. Might mean they're out of counter spells. Oh, they really just go for the mill. Well, now the bringer's looking even better, huh? We do have a problem, and we'd see another bringer. We do have a problem where we're not taking any damage, so any more Gorge, they're probably always going to be tapped against this deck list that we're up against now. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll have the 6 with the Gorge, but we don't have the Ceremony on the board this game. There's one in the grave. There's still 2 ceremonies in the deck list. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing one, but I also wouldn't... Wow. Ceremony. Huh. That's crazy, dude. So we have the 6th mana. See if Ceremony lands. We have 2 open to play around specific counter spells. Doesn't look like Ceremony's going to land, however. It's going to be 3 steps ahead. Okay. Okay. That's another 3 steps ahead that's not hitting the bringers when it comes time. Now at that point, we just need a couple more mana. Wow, it's still going, huh? Ride's End? Okay. That exiles. We could go Bitter Triumph. I don't think we have to, dude. I don't think we have to. I was going to say, if we're in desperate need of getting that creature into the grave instead, but they milled us, so we really don't need to. Oh, holy cow, dude. Okay. They're really going for that mill. We might die next turn if they have a 3rd Jace. Yeah. Down to 17 cards drawing. Now we're down to 16 cards. Another bringer. Oh no. Oh no, guys. Honestly, if we saw mana 2 turns in a row, there's a chance. There's a real chance. However, up against control, it could easily be the 3rd counterspell too. Let's see if they have that 3rd Jace. Beza. Okay, so they go up to 21. They don't get any extra tokens. We do have Bitter Triumph. We might as well take the 3, right? What's on their board here? Demolition Field. Okay. Yeah, we'll pay the 3, pop the Beza, get it off the board. It's definitely a chunky enough creature to warrant the Bitter Triumph. A Caustic Exhale. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. We need mana. Dude, it would have been so good if that Ceremony would have landed. All 3 ceremonies out of the list. Ooh. We should probably wait till they actually have another creature, right? To exile. There's nothing important in their graveyard right now. Although they wouldn't mind bringing the Beza back when we play the Bringer. I'm glad that they're missing the Jace. But we only have 14 cards, so it might be all too easy. Oh yeah, they have a fishy they could have protected a big creature with anyway. So we can go Caustic Exhale on the fishy too. But then they just generated another fishy before the Betrayal. So I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Ah, okay. They don't plan on swinging anyway. They pop the fishy, draw a card, looking for that last piece of mill. We do find some mana. 1 step closer, huh? All right. Yeah, I'm still gonna hold back on the Strategic Betrayal. We don't really have to get rid of the Beza, not when we have this many creatures in the grave with 2 terror. Oh, it's tapped land though. It's tapped land though, guys. So they're still gonna have another turn of finding the mill. Okay, we can send the Restless Vents. Maybe I shouldn't. How many cards do I have? Only 12 cards anyways. So no matter what, the Jace would another Jace would end it. So we might as well send it, maybe find something more important. I'll play the Strategic Betrayal. Maybe we can get another counterspell out of their hand. But I don't think they really care about this, so... Yeah, since we plan on playing Bringer of the Last Gift for 3 turns in a row, we won't have any excess mana for the Betrayal. So yeah, they let it go through. 6 cards in hand. Only 2 counterspells out of the opponent's deck list here. More mana. It's too bad this wasn't an untapped source last turn. Alright. Attempt number 1. Can the Bringer land? I don't think so. Not the first one, at least. Okay, 3 steps ahead. Number 3. They also have the card draw here, too, which could find even more counterspells, which is definitely a problem. They send a Get Lost. More mana. Fountain Port, Demolition Field. 6 cards in hand. Strategic Betrayal. Alright. Bringer of the Last Gift, number 2. Can you land? Come on. Ah! No. Okay. Well, we have a third one ready for next turn. They go fishy. They're probably going to go card draw again. Because all they have to do is wait. Like, we only have 9 cards remaining. But also, there's probably another Jace in their build, too. So, just drawing into that also gets them there. Still 6 cards in the opponent's hand. They're probably feeling pretty good right about now. So let's see what's on top. Another Restless Vents. Might as well send it, right? Might as well. Although the first Restless Vents wouldn't have been terrible, I don't think it would be successfully swinging here, you know? Now right here, if we cast this, we have 1 mana open. If we wait for next turn, we'll have 2 mana open, which still isn't enough to keep open versus a No More Lies anyways. So we might as well just cast it. Yeah. Opponent. Don't do it, opponent. Don't do it. Don't do it. Did they run out of counter spells? They might have. They're not looking at their hand. Oh, dude. Even popping it now, it would have to be something that stops the ability, you know? Woo, buddy. Oh, my goodness. How much damage is it? A lot. It's a lot. And the Ferals also have haste too, so I don't know how the opponent deals with this. They still have open mana though. Looks like they might let me play this out too. Yeah, double terrors. Double terrors, double the damage. Oh my goodness, this is way more than I thought. Okay, I always like completely underestimate just how much damage is actually going through at any given time when you bring double terrors back from the grave. Dude, we're ending on a high note, man. We're ending on a high note for real. Pulling that off 2 times in the video? What on earth, man? I can't believe it. Rakdos Terror. Yeah, I'd say fitting of the name, huh? Named after Terror of the Peaks for a good reason. Wow. Wow, it does do some rearranging Carnosaur. Actually, the bottom ability didn't do nearly as much as 4 mana Carnosaur off of Ceremony, which is actually just really cool. Ceremony also just helping us plug those creatures into the grave to get them ready for Bringer. I would consider the 4th Ceremony. I don't have it yet, and it's one of those cards where it's like, how many deck lists am I personally going to build as like a red player, right? That's going to rock all 4 ceremonies. And so this is one where when I pull the 4th out of a pack, awesome. I'm going to be happy about that because I'll eventually find another deck list that I want all 4 of them in. Right now, though, I'm going to keep it at 3. I don't want to craft the 4th, and it's also a legendary enchantment too. But when you do see more of them, and you see too many of them, this style of deck list has plenty of ways of trading it out. Bitter Reunion, Stormshriek, Omen, right? So even Bitter Triumph, you kind of trade it out, but at that point, it's not trading it out. But you guys know what I mean. Like, you can send the extra ceremonies to the Bitter Triumph. Against that first demon game, was it the first one? Second one? First one. I have no idea. Who am I? All right, Bitter Triumph would have really come in handy against those demons. I'd consider actually just going up a 3rd Bitter Triumph over, let's see, the Caustic Exhale. Drop this down to 2, potentially. I really thought this was going to do more today, but we didn't even see any mice today, did we? I don't think so. And I've been seeing so much mice recently, but they kind of just, they haven't showed up for my last couple of videos, and I keep building around them too, so it's a little awkward for some of the cards. I'm pretty sure Caustic Exhale is still going to do a lot. I mean, even against the demons, even though we couldn't kill any of their creatures, we still made 10 damage. We turned it into 4 damage, right? Because their Rock Curse was coming in at double damage for 10, but we brought it down to 2. We only took 4. That's kind of significant, even though we weren't able to pop it. At least the Rock Curse popped itself anyways. So I do like the 3 of these. And maybe, I mean, first of all, the deck list performed well enough to not change anything. Yeah. Now, what about the Do Not Craft list? Yeah, probably put it on the do not craft list, but only because it's so expensive. Other than that, it was freaking awesome, dude. I had a blast with this. I can't believe we pulled off the combo twice. Maybe that means the deck list is actually set up to pull off the combo consistently, right? So we would have pulled off the combo sooner in that last game too if the opponent would have let the ceremony land, but at least we got extra counter spells out of the opponent's hand too. Let's see. Yeah, for Terror of the Peaks, always keep an eye on reprints, guys. See, I have an older version of Terror of the Peaks, so obviously I don't want to waste mythic wild cards on the on this Terror of the Peaks, although I do wish it looked a little cleaner, right? I wish they would actually stack these onto this and actually showed a ×4 instead, but that's okay. I mean, it does the same thing. I just kind of wish, like, I like the look of builds, and I like looking at the curve and everything. I don't like how it splits it like this. You guys know what I mean? Wish it stacked into one there. That doesn't really matter, though, and that's besides the point. The mana base felt good. I can imagine it does, right? Because that is a lot of dual lands, dude. Blackcleave Cliffs, of course you're hoping you get it in those first 3 turns. If you see it later, it is what it is, man. You still want a good early land, especially when you want early removal, too. So, and of course, the theater is going to be amazing, and it pairs well with the Verge as well. And the Verge powers up when you see the swamps and mountains as well. And Gorge, I'd say, like, it came out tapped a lot today, but I'd say there's still going to be plenty of moments where it's going to come out untapped. Again, we didn't see any mice. And, like, I mean, sometimes you get to your second turn, the Gorge is ready. At least that's what it feels like, right? So, I don't know, I do like all 4 Verge, but it can be your budget land of choice if that's what you want. And also, you could probably add even more budget land, too, to trade out any of these rare lands that you don't have. Yeah, about that do not craft list, it can definitely go on the list of put it together if you already have it. If you already have all the cards, definitely try it out. It was really fun. Also, you could do some trading out based on your collection too. Now, I guess if you don't have all the terrors, that's going to be a little tricky. If you don't have all the bringers, that's going to be a little tricky too, right? But if you don't have all the ceremonies, maybe you don't have to craft all of them. You could just go up some other ramp instead. Now, this is pretty significant ramp that affects all of your creatures, and you can play multiple creatures on the same turn with this style of ramp too. So, but you could still go up some other ramp potentially, right? Some treasure ramp or something. So maybe some of the honorable mentions that we brought up earlier. All right, guys. I think that's everything that I want to say for now. Actually, not too much to say because the games spoke for themselves, right? I'm thoroughly impressed. I do think if we play another 5 games, I think... I mean, honestly, another 5 games, I bet we could pull off a combo in one of those 5 again. But maybe I'm just overly confident since we pulled it off twice in this. That's very possible too. So, guys, let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. And speaking of down in the comments, thank you again for the suggestion. This was a really fun one. Maybe next time I'll try the Jund version as well. The Jund was the original suggestion. But yeah, just not this time around. I went Rakdos instead. And it was sick. I really enjoyed this. But yeah, thank you for the suggestion again. All right. I think that's everything. If you guys made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. And I will see you in the next video.